Hey everyone, welcome to the AddMeGamers channel. Today I'm going to be covering the new A.M.G Jagged Alliance BIA in Action guide, as the previous guide hasn't been updated for quite some time, and a lot since then has changed, and of course many new features have arrived with the new patch, and of course in how the inner game works and other aspects have also been taken into consideration. And as always, more information, what people required, has also been added. This guide will of course cover the A.M.G videos, followed by the A.I.M mercenaries. Then you're going to have the traits. Then you're going to have the mercenary likes and dislikes, the weapons and ammo, the snipers, mercenary potentials, best troopers, toolkit and medical items, NPC locations, consumables, Offical quests. And then you're going to have the starting teams and teams in general. Then you're going to have the keyboard layout, and finally the traders. So, as always, if you'd like to skip to the section that you're mainly interested in, then just click on the link. If not, wait a few seconds and we shall start from there. Now, when you open up the A.M.G guide for the Jagged Alliance that I've created, you'll notice that the first tab that will be opened up is the A.M.G videos. Here I'll be posting and linking the more important videos required for the game, such as tutorials. You have the starter pack, you have the tutorial pack, you have the sounds and music in case you'd want to listen to it, the interviews, the mods, and the music mods, the music that come with the new mods. Of course, I put more tabs are below, and it's best viewed at 1920 by 180, so you can see it like this. When you have, of course, this lower resolution, you won't be able to view it like this. As such, I would recommend, of course, to view it in this resolution. As mentioned before, you have the tabs below. So this is the first screen. Here you can click on all the videos just to help you understand the game itself. Do keep in mind the actual screen that you see now or in this video may not be as it is when you visit it, as it's very, let's say, it fluctuates quite a bit. It changes in accordance to what's happening in the actual game itself. So if you have been with us from the beginning, obviously you didn't see this. There was a completely different starting screen. Now we have this, so I believe this should be the final screen, but of course the actual links and all the content that you see now will probably change, depending on when you visit the actual Google A.M.G sheet that I've created. Now in the next tab you have the A.I.M mercenaries, which is one of the most important tabs of all. Again, on the top left you have the link, of course, to my channel. You can click directly on the channel itself. Same applies to the A.M.G videos. You can click on the actual title and click the link itself. Now, the A.I.M mercenaries, you have all the mercenaries from the actual roster added into this tab or Google Sheet. Again, it's recommended to view it at this resolution. You have, of course, the names that have been sorted alphabetically, the price, the level, their attributes, and their skills. And then you have their traits and, of course, the skills. What I have done here is I have even added the skills at the end, and I have put in capital letters the skills that they're specialized in. Meaning I know, let's say for example, I don't know, you're looking for ice, so we click ice, I'll click ice. It highlights ice and there's nothing highlighted. So if I click Len, let's say, Len, I see mechanical. So without actually looking through this, since it's a headache, I know Len has a minimum mechanical of 50 because he can use all the mechanical tools. You know, same thing applies for different things. For example, here I have Trevor. Trevor's mechanical and explosive. So I immediately know from this that Trevor has a minimum mechanical of 50 and explosive minimum explosive, sorry, of 75. So this should help you understand what your mercenaries skills are in general. Of course, I also put in small letters of what else you can use, you know, the prerequisites for other items themselves. You know, the main thing is here you can actually see and compare the different mercenaries to their traits and what they have, and of course you can get a quick peek at what actually they can use if you're not interested in a skill. So for example, if I'm looking for somebody that can do, I don't know, explosives, so I can just go directly to the skills and check explosives out and click it and follow it. Barry can do explosives, and Fidel can do explosives, and Gus can do explosives, and then if I want, I could check what the explosive are. It's 92 for Gus, so this is how it goes. Here, for example, I can click explosives, I'll follow it, nails, and then I can check what is explosive 78. So it's more than enough to do the item being C4 remote control, which has the prerequisite of 75 skill points. This is a great way of actually viewing of all the mercenaries and being able to select which mercenaries you are thinking of hiring, and if not, you're thinking of actually maybe switching or getting in accordance to what they want to do in your team itself. After this, of course, you have the traits. It's quite important to be clear that don't pick your mercenaries only in accordance to how good their skills and attributes are. Make sure that also why you select the mercenary is a good idea to specialize him in that specific way. It's good to pick your mercenary. For example, you want a sniper, make sure he has a sniper trait, preferably even an expert sniper trait. Having an expert sniper trait, of course, gives him additional bonuses. In general, what we know that in this game, morale affects everything. Hopefully later on I might be able to get the actual stats of what exactly morale affects, but currently here are the traits and effects themselves. Here is a complete list of all the traits and what they do. For example, loner, the morale rises when the mercenary is alone. Meaning if he's just by himself, the morale increases. Of course, morale affects a lot of attributes, and substantially, I think up to 15%. So I don't know, hopefully and within the future I should have exactly what morale does and what it affects, so then I would be probably adding it into this column as well. Now, when you're picking your mercenaries, remember to keep 3 things in mind. Actually, 1 thing in mind, which is 3 points. You need to have in your team an explosive expert, a mechanical expert, and of course a medical expert. It's important to always pick the first mercenary or have a mercenary that is a mechanical expert, meaning a minimum of mechanics, which is 50 points, so you can use the toolkit. Toolkit is extremely important because repairing damaged items and all the items you get that are better than your items are majority of the time damaged. So the first thing you should always focus on is hiring somebody that has a minimum mechanical of 50. After which you should obviously find somebody who has a medical degree or a medical skill. In this sense, if he's an expert, all the better. Like this, you can use the large medikit. You can know that by the capital letters. If it's medical, it means he has the prerequisite for the large medikit. Of course, in turn, he can use all the things prior to it. So initially, I would look for somebody who has mechanical expertise, and then I would look for somebody who has medical expertise. If you're playing easy, I believe you have enough money to even hire a third person who has the explosive expertise. These 3 fields or skills cover the whole game in general. Every location you go to, you will have at least 1 person that can do that specific skill. Try to focus your mercenaries to do the specific job. Of course, if you have a mechanical guy that's focusing on, let's say, repairing, for example, here I have mechanical. Let's see who this is. This is Len, I believe. Len has a mechanical of 54. So, for example, if I have Len, and I know Len can already use my mechanical, my toolkit. Let's say Len, this is hypothetically speaking, I could hire him in the beginning. You also have to keep in mind that not all mercenaries will join you in the beginning, but for example, let's say if I could, and let's say if it would be possible, he would be my mechanical guy, and since I want to continue using Len as my mechanical guy, I'll continue increasing his marksmanship, of course, to make him a better shooter. So keep in mind that your person that's skilled in a specific skill should also be a better shooter. It's practically impossible to have a mercenary that's skilled in one skill to be skilled in another skill as well. So for example, having a mechanical and explosive guy, or having a medical and an explosives guy. There's always an exception to the rule. You have obviously here Trevor. He has mechanical and explosives. As you can see, he is specialized in mechanical and explosives, and at the same time he's quite a good shot, if I'm not mistaken. Dexterity, perception. Well, that sort of brings an end to the A.I.M Mercenaries tab and the traits. So let's jump to the mercenary likes and dislikes. Of course, as you all know, that all the mercenaries or the majority of mercenaries like to work with somebody or dislike or hate to work with somebody. It's key to make sure that you don't piss them off, let's put it this way. always make mercenaries, or try to make mercenaries that like to work with each other. In the worst case, try to at least put mercenaries together that are neutral. In this sense, for example, Bull doesn't like anybody, he's neutral, doesn't dislike anybody, and doesn't hate anybody, he's neutral in general. If you put mercenaries that dislike each other or hate each other, the morale goes down, morale is poor. Now, in this game, morale is sort of a big factor as it affects a lot of attributes. Exactly, it could affect up to 15%. The exact number I still don't know. Hopefully later on I should get confirmation from BitComposer or Core Play directly from them, and I can actually tell you exactly how this works. But currently what we know, morale is a big affecting factor, and the likes and dislikes and hates plays a major role in how the morale is taken. For example, it can go from very good to poor, or from good to very good. So keep in mind that when you hire mercenaries, to place them or hire them in a sort of correct manner. So for example, the starting mercenaries would be, majority of the time would be Wolf and Fox. Why do people always pick Wolf and Fox? Well, because Fox likes Wolf and Wolf likes Fox, as you can see. So obviously the morale is very high, which makes them both better shots, better medics, better everything. You know, but if you would maybe put Danny, who hates and dislikes Steroid, and then I would hire Steroid, first of all, Steroid would most probably not join in the team, or Danny would refuse to work in the team with Steroid. And if you did manage to get them in the same team, the morale would be so low that the actual performance overall would be affected to the point where it might not even be worth putting them in the same team, as you'd realize that maybe putting somebody else with even less stats would do a better job than putting two mercenaries together that completely flat out hate each other to the point that they'd most probably go at each other's necks if he dislikes him and hates him. So I believe you would maybe get a morale, let's say, changed by 2 to 3 steps. Maybe from very good it would go down to poor, or very poor. So this would be in this sense, and this is it. What I would also recommend you to do is you have also a few traits here, that being team player, night ops, unloader, and Amazon. If you put all the members that are team players in one team, they get a bonus. In regards to morale, it goes up by +1. If you go to the trait section and we look for team player here, morale rises when working in a full squad. So if it goes up by 1 bar, I think it goes up by 1, not by 2 bars. So if it was good and you put all the members that are team players, it should go up to very good. Same thing happens with night ops. If it's night, their morale goes up by 1. If they're alone, their morale goes up by 1. If they're Amazons, their morale goes up, I believe, also by 1. So I'm not sure. Hold on, let's check the traits. What does Amazon do? Morale when working in a squad of women. Yes, so if you have the Amazons working together, then their morale also goes up by 1. It's very important in general, the likes and dislikes, as I said, because you really want to get the correct mixture. It doesn't mean they all have to love each other, but try to get the correct mixture so you don't have dislikes and hates in there, you know, as it really improves the actual overall performance of your team substantially, the morale factor. So keep an eye on your morale factor. Now, in regards to the weapons and ammo, you have a huge amount, a huge list of weapons and ammo here. Of course, you can see how each weapon's damages and ranges, how much it costs, what type of weapon, what class it is in, you know, count. Keep in mind that the damage and range has various way of being played, meaning don't always take the gun that has the highest damage, because its range might be very low, and the AI or the militia might have a higher range, a longer range gun with less damage, and he'll be able to pick you off. In the beginning, it's key to always pick a gun that has a higher range. It also depends on how your playstyle will be. To get, of course, a better idea, you can always check the tutorial I have in the first tab. Now you have, of course, the prone, crouch, run, and stand. This is per second. It means it takes 1 second to shoot the MP5 at the prone position, and it takes 0.95 seconds to shoot it at a crouch position. Majority, I don't know if most of you, but I know some of you play with the positions to the point where you pick the least time taken to shoot the gun and you stick with that stance. You have to consider not the least time. For example, if I shoot the MP5 in the standing position, doesn't mean it's the most accurate. You lose quite a lot of accuracy when you're in the running or standing stance. It might be faster to shoot it, but it doesn't mean it's more accurate. I believe the most accurate stance for all the guns is the prone position. That's why the prone position usually takes up more time. You can always reduce this by putting on some attachments or increasing some of your attributes as well. Otherwise, you should also keep in mind the factor of the caliber or the ammo type. When you start off the game here, I have the caliber type and armor piercing factor. When you start off with the game, you start off with usually 9mm and 38s and 45s, which is armor piercing factor is 1.7. It's not really good for piercing armor, but you know, it sort of hits the person. Later on in the level, you should aim for guns that have a higher armor piercing factor or a higher armor damaging factor, as the militants will have armor on. So your guns should be able to pierce and damage armor more. So later on you move from the 9mm to 38s to 45s. At the end of the game, the actual 50 caliber is the sniper, which has the highest armor piercing factor. I believe. Let's move down to our snipers. Here we go, 50 cal, the Ares, and then you got the M82 sniper, which is I think the best sniper though. So yeah, 110 damage with the range, sorry, 110 damage, 68, but the highest range. You have the Ares with slightly less range but more damage. So again, you have to keep in mind the factor of the actual caliber the gun uses. You know, the rate of fire might not always be the best to keep it the fastest. It might be efficient more to keep the rate of fire slightly slower, but the accuracy slightly higher. And of course the caliber the gun uses. The higher the caliber, well, not really, but the better the caliber in regards to armor piercing efficiency, the better the actual gun is in regards to taking out the militants, especially later on as they get armor. This is it in regards to the actual weapons and ammo section, and the next up is the snipers. Now in regards to our sniper section, as you may have noticed, it has substantially changed over the previous old layout and guide. The snipers, of course, shows the best snipers out there. You have the starting sniper marks, which is the starting sniper, the marks given for the sniper that you immediately hire. It means the base sniper. It means the mercenaries that you hire directly without leveling them up. It means Shadow at level 5. When you hire him, he has 83 dexterity and 87 marksmanship. His starting sniper marks are at 144.35. And same thing follows. For example, Gus, he's also here. He has actually the highest starting sniper marks at 149 points for the starting sniper. Now, since you can level them up to level 10, it means level 5 he has a probability of 5 more levels up. You have 7 points per level up. It means you have 35 points to distribute. The same principle was done for all of them, counting how many points they have to distribute, prioritizing, of course, the marksmanship, since marksmanship improves overall shooting substantially more than actual dexterity. And the leftover points, if there were any, were then thrown into the dexterity. And if, of course, the dexterity and level dexterity was again 100, then it would just be added to the side how many leftover points you'd have after adding the end marks to dexterity and end marks to, sorry, marksmanship and then to dexterity. So, for example, in this case, Malice, he's in level 3. And his base dexterity is 92 and 73, so it's 7 times 7, since it's 49 points I have to give out. And if I add all the points to his marksmanship and add the rest to his dexterity, I still end with a remaining of 14 points. And then I recalculate the same formula based on the new dexterity and new marksmanship, including the bonuses for the rifles and expert rifle marks. And again, it gives me the total end level 10 sniper marks. It means at the end, once you completely level up your mercenary, what are the potentials? As you'll notice in the beginning, Gus is the best, but even later on, since he can only level up twice, he turns out to be one of the worst. Seriously, even Buns does a better job at shooting a damn sniper rifle than he is. So This is again my opinion, with the current information that we have. As always, do keep in mind that the graphs that you see now in the Google Sheet will change. This is it for the snipers. Now, for the Mercenary Potentials, here you have a list of all the mercenaries. Of course, they're arranged in accordance to the highest potential or the most that you can achieve out of your mercenary. In general, all mercenaries are good, but at the end of the day, and how good the mercenary is dependent on how many points he has in his skills and attributes and how many points you can put into him. This has substantially been changed. Overall, the whole AddMeGamers Jagged Alliance guide for the back in action has changed, and how I decided to calculate this. I decided to calculate in regards to the best potential that you can achieve out of your mercenary will also, or should also, include the points that he has to gain when he finally levels up, because at the end I want to know how much or how good the mercenary will be at the final stage, which is at level 10. So it has slightly changed in to the previous order that the older guide had, but here it shows you at the final stage and how good or how many points you have in total for each mercenary. So to explain to you how this works, you have the total attributes and the total skill points. The total skill points are here and the total attributes are here. The stat total, and you add them both up, it's the starting total. So when you start up with Gus, you know that you have 839 points, that being in your skills and that being in your attributes as well. So, but when you level up, since you only have 2 levels to go, since he's in level 8 and you have maximum of level 10, you can only achieve a total of 853 points to put into Gus. Out of which you can only control 14. 14 you can select where you want to put them. So out of that you have 853 points. So obviously the potential of Gus is substantially higher, because any other mercenary, for example Danny, if we shade Danny in, he has a total potential of 653 points in total that can be put into him. So this, at the end of the day, this comes down to the core basic line of, yes, your mercenary may be good in sniping, yes, your mercenary may be good in this, yes, your mercenary may be good in that, but at the end of the day, your mercenary is as good as how many points he has, which is, in a way, it's realistic, it's logically correct and mathematically correct. Obviously, the more points your mercenary has in him, the better he is. It doesn't necessarily mean he's better in a specific specialization, but in general, he should be better, yes. So this is also a good way to sort of, factor in or select your mercenaries in accordance to this. You can also maybe select it in accordance to this. So like this, I know, for example, if I have a level 4 guy who is the top 35 Trevor, I know I can still select an additional 42 points on how I want to distribute them. And he has a substantially high amount of points. Okay, he may be still around, 70, 73 short, but still it's substantially good for a person that costs 40,000. So 40,000 to be a mercenary in the top tier, I would say that's really great. And Thor, that's just insane. He has 721. Okay, it's no more 70 points. It's nearly 100 and something, but still he's there. He's in the top grade. He's in the top tier mercenaries to get. He's around 18,775. So this is sort of impressive. This is just giving you another look on how you could select your mercenaries. Of course, it doesn't have to be in accordance to how many total points they have, but this gives you a general idea of what are the best mercenaries to get in regards to the total amount of points, skills, points, and attributes they have in general. Now, for best troopers is, again, you have a different way or a different segment of mercenaries you're looking for. Troopers aren't the specialized or great in this particular thing. They're a good mercenary to have in regards to going out there and taking care of the dirty business, taking damage, doing the grunt work, going in houses, overall fighting skills, being good as an average and everything, just doing everything that everybody doesn't want to do. All the difficult stuff comes down to the actual troopers. So in the sense, of course, all the different attributes have been weighed differently in regards to what's more important for a trooper. Of course, it's more important to have strength. Wisdom is calculated as 30%. Marksmanship has a bonus of 50% because he needs to be a good shot as being as a trooper. And in general, of course, Intelligence has been factored in, but the actual points to gain, which is how many points you can add to the actual mercenary since he levels up, since he's level 5, 7 points level, so that's 35. This has been taken as a bonus, so it's always good to have a trooper that can sort of advance or improve in some sense. So the potential of a trooper of improving himself is also there, so that's taken as a bonus. As always, keep in mind that the formula will change and the tables will change, but for now this is it. Later on in the future we will see maybe something new, or some new formula will come out from core play and the actual table itself will change in regards to this. So far Scully is the best trooper, followed by Magic, Ivan, Trevor, and Shadow and Reaper. It doesn't mean that these people are the best in the game itself, but this means, I can't even speak, but this means that these mercenaries are good as in overall skills. They can take care of everything in regards to going out there and dealing with the stuff in regards to melee combat, fighting, outside fighting, indoor fighting, close combat, taking damage. These are the guys you want there to be. It's always good to have a few of them around. You might have a specialist in outdoor fighting, that being an assault person. You might have a specialist in taking care of medical. It's always good to have a trooper or two in your team that sort of covers a few bases, maybe not excellent in everything, but covers a few. Now, you have the toolkit and medical items here. It shows you the list of all the items you have in regards to medical, in regards to repairing, in regards to explosives and grenades and timers and crowbars and lockpicks. Of course, it tells you how many charges they have, which means how many times one item can be used, how much they cost, of course what skill is required, and what's the minimum requirement for the skill. So for example, large medikit requires a minimum of 80. And of course the efficiency of how much they should improve, repair, add, whatever it's supposed to do. So this is what they should do. In regards to the diffuse kit, of course you don't have efficiency, you just diffuse the mine and that's the end of that. And in regards to the smoke grenade, you even have the range itself, it's added. Of course, to get a better general idea of, not really a general idea, a more in-depth idea of how the medical items and the repair items work, you can always click on the links here. I'll put the 2 links to my tutorial videos. One of them will be in regards to the large medikit, and the other ones, in regards to the healing, and the other one will be in regards to the repairing items. Now, NPC locations, this is in case you need to find your NPC or a non-playing character. The purple NPCs of course are the ones that you can hire after you complete the quest. This is the sites where you can find them, and these are the quests what need to be completed in turn to gain the NPC. Now if you click on the map and then you open it up, it should open up a map that should give you the location of where the NPC is located. Here is the maps. For example, if I want to hire Devon, I know Devon is in K11, so let's go to K. We go to 11, K11, K11, so we know Devon is here, so we have to come here, and I believe, where is he? Devon needs K11, he needs involved in the quest recruit Devon, so he just has a simple quest that's based on him. So you take care of that, and that should be it. You have of course different examples. Miguel is in the prison break, he is in the E5 hideout, so let's go to E5 hideout, and he's here, and you can recruit him as well. Once you deal with the quest prison break, which I believe is somewhere here, Alma prison, you might need to break somebody out. And this is in regards to the NPC locations. And now we got the consumables tab. Here of course you have the list of all the consumables you have in the game. In regards to efficiency, which of course is how much energy they add or reduce, you use consumables to increase your energy. If you travel a lot, you need to use this. Their weight, their price, their ratio, single item, full stack ratio, and full weight. Now on the right side you have of course the top 10 single items. If you're using a single item, if you're just using one slot for one item, what would be the best thing to use? This is beef of course, because the efficiency is 50, the size is 1, price and the weight and the ratio is 5.0. The higher the better the ratio. I even wrote it here, higher the better, higher the better. And of course if you have a full stack of the items, which would be the best, the ratio of course is the highest with the Dahanko power bars, which is 3.75, and you have this full stack weight is 400 grams, the stack size is 10. So 10 Dahanko bars weigh me 400 grams, and they give me a hell of a lot more energy than any other thing in the game itself. Now, of course, keep in mind that maybe more graphs and statistics will come up, but this is in regards to your consumables. If you want to use the right consumable with the most amount of energy, with the least amount of weight, you can always come here and take a look at which are the best to use in regards to single items or full stack items. You'll get an idea of exactly what happens. So for example, here it's 400 grams, 400 grams, and it's around 150% efficiency. Here I have weight 500 and it's 50 efficiency. So this sort of gives you a general idea of how efficient a full stack of Dahanko power bars is in comparison to just one piece of beef. Yeah. Now we have the heroical quests. This is, I believe, the majority, or if not all, the quests. Later on we can add in if there's anything missing, or you guys can always send me an email if there's a quest missing and we can add it in here. As always, you have the walkthrough. If you want to see my walkthrough, you can click on the video. Here's the video walkthrough of me explaining to you everything in regards to what the quest is, you know, which quest it is, what you're interested in, what you're not interested in, or which quest you'd like to do, what you'd like to see. You can always pause it and see what you'd be interested in. So for example, we'd go to a different location. I can always pause it, take full screen size, change it to HD if I wanted to, if it's not clear, and here I can see the notes. I usually mark the locations, and it even shows how many militants, tanks, and all the other information that's required. So this is in regards to the complete walkthrough video. Here you have the map. Of course, you can check the map as you have the locations here. You can look at the map, and then you have the starting teams and teams themselves. You have the different starting teams. I put the two standard ones, well, the ones that I use and I perceive the majority of you are using as well when you start. Of course, if you're using the easy one, you start with Wolf and Fox. If you're using with hard, you start off with Sturd and MD. Wolf and Fox. Wolf is your repair guy, you cover that. Fox is your healing guy. When you're with hard, you have less money, so you start off with Steroid. He's your repair guy, and MD is your healing guy. So these are good starters. Of course, here are the teams that users on the forum themselves have added, which would be the best teams themselves. So if you'd like to add in the rest of the details of how the team advances and progresses and how it goes, you can always send me an email or let me know on the forum, and we'll add it up and update it. Now, the final few tabs, you have the keyboard layout. Here you have all the keyboard layouts, or all the keys that are of interest. It has been updated recently, and then there's a new version 1.11 to download, 1.1 sorry, to download. Additional keys have been added as well, so it's quite interesting to know. You can always visit it once in a while. If you believe that something has been missing, you can add it as well, or just send me an email and I'll add it there myself. And finally, which is incomplete still, but hopefully will be completed by then, is the traders. The traders themselves, you have of course the location and the trader name, and of course the funds they start with, sorry for that, the funds that they start with and what items they have. So hopefully this will get completed. If you'd always, of course, if you'd like to help in regards to any of the tabs, or if you have any opinion in regards to how it should be or what it should be like, you can always send me an email. The email is on the first page. If you go to the bottom, you see the arrow here. You go to the A.M.G guide. I believe I left an email somewhere here. A.I.M Mercenaries, here it is. Here's my email. You can email me at AddMeGamers@AddMeGamers.com and let me know what exactly you'd like me to add or change or fix, or why you believe something should be different. I'm always up for listening to it. And this is it for the A.M.G Jagged Alliance Back in Action guide. I hope you like it. This is, I presume, to be the most up-to-date one, and as it changes quite a lot in accordance to how the forum is and the feedback we get from users. So, as always, happy gaming. See you again. Take care.